what we're going to talk about tonight. And here's the thing, the first step, and this is not even counting the three reasons, but the first step is to realize that you are actually stuck. What are some ways that you can do that? One is you are continuing to do the same thing that you've always done. You don't try anything new. There's a quote that I love that says, "When was the last time you tried something for the first time?" If you do not remember when the last time was that you tried something for the first time, that could mean that you are stuck. Because here's the thing, when we were kids, when we were younger, when we were growing up, from toddlers to preschool to teenagers to young adults to college, we we were constantly learning new things. When we were growing up, we were learning how to walk. We were learning how to talk when we were in school. We were learning how to do algebra and geometry. That was not, neither one of those are my strong suits. However, we were learning and learning and learning. And somewhere along the way, as we became adults, we stopped learning. Learning has a way of getting you out of your comfort zone because you are learning new things. If you have been in your job for many years, you could be stuck. Why haven't you gone for a promotion? Is there a reason why you haven't gone back to school? Is there something that you are not doing because you are afraid to learn something new? So I was talking to a young lady who wanted to go back to school, and I was like, "Well, why don't you go?" Because the time is going to pass whether you go back to school or not. And she was like, "Well, I won't know what they're teaching me. I'll have to ask questions." And I was like, "You absolutely will have to ask questions. Because if you don't know how to do something, the way that you learn how to do it is by watching other people, practicing, and asking questions." And so that is just part of it. And as adults, sometimes we get stuck because we don't want to be the person in the room that doesn't know how to do it. We don't want to have to ask questions. We think people are judging us because, we are thinking that other people think we should know everything. Nobody knows everything. The only way, one of the only ways that you can learn more than what you know is by asking questions. So I would like to present you with the question: when was the last time that you did something for the first time? If that answer is last year, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, you might want to think about that. And what is the new thing that you can try? You could learn how to so one of the things that I've started doing is something called junk journaling. I love it. It relaxes me. It allows me to have fun and be creative. And I had to learn how to do it. I had to order the supplies. I had to do trial and error. I had to, yes, I love junk journaling. Hello, hello, Queen Crystal. Um, and so learning something new will get you out of your comfort zone. It will stop you from being stuck. And so that is one of the things that's so, so important as we get older. Now, I want to talk a little bit about um, some reasons why you are stuck. One of the reasons why you could be stuck is because you do not want, you want to do everything on your own. You don't want to ask for help for anybody. You think that your way is the best way. It's kind of like, um, say you have dinner. Um, yes, yes. I love scrapbooking and junk journaling. So let's say you have you have a dinner party, and the dinner party is over and people are asking you, do you need help? And so somebody loads the dishwasher and starts the dishwasher. After the dishwasher is finished, maybe the next day, you don't like it because they did not load the dishwasher the way that you load the dishwasher. Now think about that. Like there's not a dish loading class certification. And so it's not one way to do everything. And so if you have that mentality of it's only your way is always the best way, those are things that you want to look at because those can be some of the reasons why you are stuck. Wanting to do things on your own all the time by yourself does not allow for community. It does not allow for other people to come in and support you and to be for you to support other people. Now, let's talk about another way that might be keeping you stuck, and that is you don't think you need any support. So let me give you an example. Um, a couple months ago, I spoke at an event and I had a lot of supplies that I had to bring in. And there were a couple people asking me, hey, do you need some help? And at first, immediately, I was like, mm-mm. Then I was like, yes, I do need some help. Because sometimes we are so used to doing things on our own by ourselves that we don't give other people the opportunity to support us the way we like to support other people. We like to help other people. We like to support other people. And it should be an exchange because we all need help. We all need support. And so there's two things to support. Do you ask for support when you need it? Hello? Do you ask for support when you need it? And the other side of that is, do you accept support when it's offered? If someone says, hey, can I help you with that? Is your response, nope, I got it. Nope, mm-mm, I can do it. Thank you for the likes. Or do you accept the support once that it's offered? And so those are things that you want to keep in mind, that you want to think about because they may be keeping you stuck and not allowing you to move forward. So let me say something else. When in those moments, so in my business, I realized that I was stuck. I had taken myself as far as I could. I had used all of the tools that I had available to me. I knew that. And so the choice that I made, the decision that I made was to get a coach. And I'm telling you, every time, every time I have made the choice to get a coach, everything has been blown out of the water. I have grown, my business has grown, everything has, because you have to realize that there comes a point where you can, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're gifted, you're anointed, you're in your purpose, you're fabulous, you're great, and there's only so much that you know. There's only so many tools that you have at your disposal, and sometimes we need a little support from someone who is further along in the process so that we can move further along in the process. So you got to get some support. One of the things that happens with when you get support is you realize you also need some accountability. That is one of the things. So I recently just joined this community for growing my podcast. I love it. It's amazing. It's awesome. I'll be telling you a little bit more about that in another episode. But the community, the connection, people are asking, hey, when are you gonna get started? Give me a date. And they're holding people accountable. That is what helps you win. When you can bring a buddy along, I don't care if it's working out, eating better, starting a business, starting a podcast, reading your Bible, praying, I don't care what it is. When you have a buddy, when you have an accountability partner, when you have someone holding your hand, when you have someone checking in on you, when you have someone who is walking alongside of you in the process, you have a better chance of support. So, in one of the um, podcasts, one of the what is it called? One of the lives that I was in. Now tell me if this is you. The guy was talking about when his wife tells him, "Hey, you go to the dentist next week or 2 weeks from now or next Thursday, whatever it is." You know what he does? He immediately starts to floss 2 or 3 times a day. Anybody else does that? Because you don't want the person fooling around in your mouth and your gums are tender and they're bleeding and they're sore the next day. That is a form of accountability because when you know somebody's going to be watching, somebody's going to be checking, somebody is going to be asking, did you do what you said you were going to do? All of those things can help to keep you focused. They can help keep you on your path. They will help keep you so that you keep the promises that you make to yourself. Now, I said I was going to give you 3 things that might keep you stuck. I'm going to give you a fourth one. And that is because you think that in order for you to get started, you have to have everything in place. That is not true. The thing that is keeping you stuck is that you think you need to have everything in place in order to begin. The thing that is keeping you from moving forward is thinking that you have to have the whole playbook before you make one step to move forward. Part of the growth, the intention, part of the um, magic, the success is you starting before you're ready. You got to start before you're ready because that enables you to be flexible enough to make adjustments along the way. One of the thing, one of the things that I always do is I do the first best step and then the next best step. So I do the thing that makes the most sense to do in the moment. Okay. Now, let me give you an example. Do I know that I need to be very methodical and strategic on YouTube? Absolutely. Yes. In me launching in the number of days that I'm going to post. Yes, all of those things are true. And I also know, like tonight, I could be like, you know what? I'm gonna go live. Because that is the thing that felt right in the moment, is for me to do it. Not that it has to be perfect. Not that I have to have this done and that done. Part of moving forward is taking steps before you're ready. So let me tell you this. So this was maybe a couple of years ago. I got a coach. This was when I was first getting my podcast started. And this guy was phenomenal. And we met one time and he was like, okay, tell me, what's going on? What have you already done? And I was like, I have the name, I have the graphics design, I have the description, I have this, I have that. I had everything. I had everything I was supposed to have. And then he was like, after the meeting, which was maybe 30 minutes, he was like, okay, when you gonna start? I was like, what do you mean I'm not ready? He was like, yes, you are. You are ready. You're ready to start. You have everything in place. Even though I wanted to have more things in place, I wanted to be more prepared. I wanted to have the 10 other items that was on my checklist before I had to get started. I did not. I started. And then I just made adjustments along the way. And I don't care what it is that you want to do, you think you should be doing, you've been led to do, God gave you a download. I don't care what it is. Start before you're ready. So let me tell you this. So this is May of 2026. And last week, I went to go see the Michael Jackson movie. This is another, certain times I hear certain things and I use those certain things to help keep me motivated. I went to go see the Michael Jackson movie this weekend. And there were many things that stood out. But one thing that I took and that I'm grasping onto and that I am going to use to incite me to move forward is Michael Jackson said, I have to do this before God gives it to Prince. That's what he said. This was many years ago, of course. Think about that. If you have an idea, if God gave you an idea to do something, why aren't you moving forward? Why are you procrastinating? Because, even on social media, there was this thing where I don't know who started it, but it was like, preparing to do it is not doing it. Thinking about doing it is not doing it. Watching somebody else do it is not doing it. Reading about it is not doing it. Watching a podcast about it is not doing it. The only way to do it, to get the reps in, to get the practice, to make an impact, to make some money, to have influence. The only way to do those things is to be in action and do it. We all have a gift. We all have a purpose. We all have skills, gifts, talents that are uniquely given to you. Your responsibility is to use your gift so that it gives other people the courage, the bravery to use their gift. And so I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that's keeping you stuck. I don't know what it is that you are telling yourself you're not ready to do, that you need to go back to school, that you don't have enough education, that you don't have, that you're too old, you're too young. I don't know what it is that you're telling yourself. But what I do know is that it is not true. It is an excuse. And one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to take the first step so that you can begin to have the life that you have dreamed and imagined to have. You won't be able to have that life if you are stuck in your comfort zone. So, we're all out here. None of us know what we're doing. We're just out here doing the best we can. So, join us. I wish you